Kia ora from beautiful Aotearoa, that is to say, hello from beautiful New Zealand. I'm Career Break Guy, taking a break from my corporate life tonight. And another one of my pick up and play games, but this time it's Pirate Borg. And just to complicate things, instead of using Foundry VTT, which is the one I normally use, because I have alchemy, I thought I'd try it. So I mean, like, the picture's quite cool, I thought. It's got these little particle effects and all that malarkey. But this is going to be an opportunity for me to, one, figure out if you can just pick up and play Pirate Borg. Spoiler alert, I believe you can. But also it is going to be a chance to see if I can figure out alchemy. The joy of Pirate Borg is that the rules are really simple, and you can just make up a lot of the story and roll a few dice where you see fit. So I don't think that being on alchemy is going to be such a problem. But because I don't know it as well, and I know that with Foundry you can have all your books loaded up, and I don't know how to do that in this, I have my copy of Pirate Borg, and I also have a copy of the Captain and Crew solo play rules, which is by, who created this again? M. Allen Hall. I've only had a quick look, but it looks fantastic. Imagine taking a simple to play game and making it even simpler and easier for someone to play solo. So, as is my way with these, I am going to roll up a character, and then I'm going to throw them into an adventure and see if I can make it work. I'm very conscious that this is a Borg game. Borg? I can't pronounce it. We're just going to say Borg. Apologies to anyone that actually speaks Swedish. Anyway, so yeah, with Borg games, your character is likely to die. The first thing that you meet, be it a dog, a rat, a troll, or whatever it is, likely to kill you, so don't get too attached to your characters. Now, Pirate Borg is, I mean, great. Just a freaking amazing game. And it's got a Kickstarter going at the moment. If you look up Limitron, Limithr, you know what, let's just type it in the chat. Limithron Kickstarter. Go check that out on Kickstarter. It's going at the moment for another month from when I'm recording this, I believe. They've got a whole bunch of great swag, starting things if you want to get into Pirate Borg, and some other fancier things for the people that have already been playing for a little bit. I have backed it, not going to lie. I'm really looking forward to when everything starts shipping. But anyway, tonight, that's not what we're talking about. We are playing Pirate Borg, and this is in the back of your Pirate Borg rulebook. It allows you to roll up characters on the spot, which is absolutely fantastic. But as I say, I don't know how to use alchemy, so as much as I'd normally have this open in one window on Foundry, and then I'll set up my character on the other screen, this time I'm just kind of have to roll some dice, and then I'll pull up the character sheet and fill in the blanks. So first of all, we're going to start with a D6 container. So let's roll a D6 for the container. I believe this is how I press this. Oh, it's behind my head, but you'll see it in a moment. Anyway, I got a 5 for that. We're going to do a D12 for cheap gear. And a D12 for fancy gear. Now we're going to do some stats. So the way this works is you roll 3d6. It'll give you... Oh, so just looking... You know what, let's clear off one thing before we move on to the next. So I rolled a 5 for my first roll, so that my container is a large sea chest, which can hold 20 items. I rolled an 11 for my cheap gear, which means I get d6 torches. And I rolled a 7 for my fancy gear, which means I get a blanket and pillow. Man, this guy's living the good life. With your stats, you roll 3d6, and that'll give you a value between 3 and 18. And then you look on this little chart, and you find out what the modifier is. So the actual number that you roll, irrelevant after this. You're just trying to find your modifier, and that's what you put against your dice scores. The way the Pirate Borg works is you roll a d20. Usually the target number is 12, and then you add or subtract your stat. And that's how you see if something works. So let's say you had a +1 in strength and you're doing some strength related thing. Roll a d20 and you would aim for 11 or more, because 11 plus 1 would be 12. Really simple. Anyway, so let's do some 3d6. 1, 2, 3. So our strength is going to be, or my strength is going to be, you're not playing, a roll of 6? Really? Wow, it was. 1, a 2, and a 3. So 6, they're a -2 strength. They are not strong at all. Their agility is a 10, which is +0. Their presence, which is like the spiritual side, is a 12, so that's a 0 as well. So far their stats are really bad. Toughness is 7, so that's -1. It'd be nice to have any stat that's in the positives. 13, there you go, and a +1 for spirit. Okay, so they're somewhat spiritual, very weak, slightly sickly, I guess, with that toughness. Right, so now we're going to roll for a class. I'm just going to do these basic 6. You can actually either choose to be a landlubber, which is classless, or you can roll a d6 for one of the core 6, or you can roll a d8, and you can also get things like a haunted soul, which is where you get your zombies and whatnot, or strange creatures like sentient animals or merfolk. But you know what? Let's keep it simple. d6. What class is he? Hopefully something simple for me. A 1, they're a brute. He's he's meant to be a strong guy, but my stats have said otherwise. So, I'll put this on a character sheet shortly, but if we remember that his strength roll was a 6, which is -2, but because he's a brute, he gets +1, which means he's -1 strength. He is the weakest brute that you will probably find. Right, so we do that. He has got a HP is D12 plus toughness. Might as well roll that now. Six plus his toughness, which was 6, 12, I believe it was the 7. So -1. So he's got 5 hit points. He is a weak boy. His weapon, you roll a d6. So this guy wields a brass anchor. How he does that with his little flimsy arms, we'll figure out. Clothing is a d10. A 1, so he has got clothing of rags. Can I scroll this up? Yep, nice. His hat, this is very important for pirates. He has got a 4, he wears no hat. Apparently not super important for this pirate. And then a D2 for Devil's Luck. Now Devil's Luck allows him to reroll failures, lower target numbers. Oh, yeah, he's got 2. So that's a good start. Right, I'm going to get some of these into the character sheet. And look, I have just made up I grabbed a random picture of a pirate. But now let's start getting some of these points in here. For a name, there's actually a chart in the front of the book. So I guess I'll close this real quick. It's a D12 for his name. 6, so we get the option of Angelica, Jonathan, or Anne. I think I'm going to call him Anne, short for Andrew. No, actually I know an Andrew, that's weird. I'm just going to call him Jonathan. Jonathan the pirate. The good pirate Jonathan. Edit. Yeah, I much prefer Foundry for this so far, but... Jonathan, class is a brute, which is correct. That's great. I know you didn't have that. His armor, haven't gotten to armor. Strength was -2 plus 1, so -1. His agility. Oh, see, I can't even scroll this up. I believe his agility was -1 as well. Gonna have to figure this out. Ugh. Let's get these dice rolls. Yep, start from there. I'll just have this book open so I can read it off here. Story time with Curry Break Guy. Okay, so 6 was -2, but +1 because he's a brute. Now I'm going to need to be able to see that over here as well, because this character sheet is right in the way and you can't move it. I think alchemy will be good, but there's a couple of things that maybe could be done differently. Right, agility was a 10. 10 is 0. That's a good thing. And the brute does not adjust that. Next was his presence. Presence was a 12. 12 is also 0. And the brute reduces that by 1. Obviously. Toughness was a 7, which is -1. And the brute gets +1 toughness, so that's 0. And finally, spirit was 13, which is a +1. And then a brute reduces that by 1. Game hates me. So we've got those. Haven't rolled for these things yet. Equipment. Add an item. So he has got a... Oh wow, it's actually got it all there. Can I search for this? Large... C? No? I guess I'll just look for it. Clothing and armor, he had rags, so we'll throw some rags on. Gear, he had his torches, a large sea chest, and a blanket and pillow. So let's see if we can find some of these. Surely it should all be in alphabetical order. Or not. Can I see any of it? Sea chest large, yep. Blanket and pillow. And then also the torches. Torch, add D6. We'll add one for now, we'll come back to it. Oh, neat. He also had no hat. And yeah, no clothing, no hat. Oh, and he had his brass anchor. So if I can find where the weapons are. I mean, this is all just stuff that you'd be writing down if you're doing this at the table, so easy enough. Melee weapon, brass anchor. But you can tell I'm just doing this live because kind of just fudging through it. Anyway, so let's see. We had a D6 torches, so we'll just roll a D6 real quick. We'll come back to that in a moment. 2 torches, great. Now I'm looking around, I'm like, what were all these dice rolls for? You know what, let's get his torches in now. Edit. 2 torches, wasn't it? Equipment. Torch. Can I add one? Quantity 2. Okay, that seems to work. Alright, so those were all of his equipments, and now you've actually got this really cool thing, roll background info, which is in the book. Unfortunately, I can't really show it on the screen, so I'll just roll it and let you know how I get on. I should probably jot down these numbers, so I've got paper and pen as well. Oh, and yeah, 2 Devil's Luck, I gotta put that in. So first of all, his background, D100. It is a 11, no? Oh, 31. 31, his background is a captain. So, background, is a captain. And being a captain, he gets a 2d8 times 10 silver and a spyglass. And let's do 2d8. This is a fantastic book, by the way. I know I've said it before, but I read the Borg one and the Cyborg one, which are kind of the other biggest Borgs I can think of. And I didn't find it super fun to read them, but this one I just love. I think it's partially the setting I love, but also it just seems to be the easiest one to read for me. Alright, anyway, so he's got a distinctive flaw, which is 1d20. A 20. He is disloyal. Oh, this is the other thing, that with Pirate Borg, when you're rolling up these random characters, like, they really just come to life in and of themselves as you're rolling up these random things. Luke Limithon has done an amazing job of setting up these random tables and what it generates. So he has matted dreaded hair, which is probably why he doesn't have a hat. He has an idiosyncrasy, which is 1d20. Roll of 16 is he talks to himself when alone, and often thinks that he's alone when he isn't. When alone... Just jotting all this down. What have we done? Now we've got an unfortunate incident, or a condition, d20. 1. Your loved ones were burned alive. Revenge is imminent. Yikes, okay. So this might actually be the motivation for the story. We'll find out. And he's got a thing of importance, D100. I wonder if it's going to be related in the end. Thing of importance is 8, an ancient gold coin. I wonder if that was dropped by the people that burned his loved ones alive. Maybe that's what he's chasing. Anyway, so now let's throw some of this stuff into his character sheet. One of these days I'll probably sort out a camera so that... Wow, where's this camera pointing? Sort out a camera looking at a page. So this can all be done that way. Right, so... Feature... No, that's not that one. Background is a... It's nice that it's all here though. Captain, distinctive flaw. Oh, is this actually in the order of the... Interesting, it's in the order of the book rather than in the order of English, which I suffer from not being able to use apparently. Talks to himself, talk to yourself when you're alone. Unfortunate incident was loved ones were burned, revenge is imminent. He has got a ancient gold coin. What else can we do? We got his equipment. He's got 80 silver it was in the end. And I rolled up his health at one point. After I rolled those 3d6, 36. Was it this one? Oh yeah, he had his weapon. One d6. Nope. 1d12. Yeah, 1d12. So he had 6 plus his toughness of health. This is actually one of the times when just if you were writing it down on paper, the character creation would have been quicker. So toughness 0, so 6 health. Where is the health? Trackers? Maybe? Health. Edit. HP max 6 of 6. Devil's luck 2, so that was correct. Okay. Don't need those other bits and pieces. So this is, I believe, Jonathan. He was a captain. Oh, and I need to throw a spyglass on there because you never know when a spyglass is going to be come in handy. And how can you really call yourself a captain without a spyglass? Add item. I really wish I could just spyglass, but game says no. No clothing, armor, gear. Should be in here, surely. Spy. Spyglass, add, done. Okay, so Jonathan, this not really brutish brute. View. In that he is not very strong at all, very little presence. I'm not sure what he was a captain of. Maybe he just thought himself a captain with his big dreadlocks and his rags that he wears. Or maybe he was a bit more... Oh, there you go. So, he was on the shore with his crew, and he was a pirate of some character at least. Unfortunately, someone came through one night after a night of carousing. They're all out on grog or ash. Ash is the powdered... I'll actually get to that. Anyway, so everyone was unconscious. They got burned alive, and all he found was an ancient gold coin at the site, which wasn't theirs, so he assumes that whoever it was that set the fire that burned his crew to death, that is where the coin came from. His hair became kind of clumped and matted from the flames, and also his more appropriate captain attire clothes were burned, and now all he was left with was rags. Disloyal. I wonder if that's come through in I wonder if the person that set the fire and left the coin, maybe that's because of something he had done in his past, so they were getting revenge on him, and now he feels the need to get revenge on them again. It's a never-ending cycle as a pirate. And this is what I mean about Pirate Borg. You can just roll up a couple of things, and all of a sudden there's this huge character arc already available in story arc. So we've got this tale of revenge that we're looking at. Pretty good start, actually, I think. What I'll do, let's go back to this other screen, just because I like this picture. And now in the captain and crew, you can actually roll a 1d6 to see how you ended up here, just to start the game even. Now there's one that does look like it might be right, but let's just... What does it say if I roll it? Jump to present. Dice roll a 2. Your captain threw you out of the crew for insubordination. So maybe that's... Okay, so that first time he was disloyal, insubordination, the captain threw him out. He probably took something of theirs. Ah, there you go. So he took some of their treasure when he got thrown out. He snuck back in, managed to get some of the treasure, including these coins, very recognizable coins. And then he lived out his life as a pirate for a bit, got his own crew. Then there was they were all murdered, and the coin was left, so that he knew it was his old captain that did it. Ah, look at this, just, it works. In the captain and crew solo rules, they've got quite a cool thing where you get out a map, and, you know, here's a map I prepared now, and I'm just going to say it's this many hexes. And if we just go, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, no, that's too many. We'll just say we've got 12 across here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 by 12. So what I'll do is I'll roll a 1d12 and a 1d10 to figure out where I put a thing. So 1d12 and 1d10 is like battleship. So 4 and... Honestly, can't really read it. 4 and 5. If we start from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is where our ship is going to be. And that ship is a 1d4. What was left to him at the end of this? A dinghy. A dinghy was all that was left at the... after this massacre. I'm just going to have to look it up because the search doesn't want to work for me. Look at all this cool stuff. Dinghy, add. Let's give it a token. Um, 4x5. And now what's the next thing we're going to do? We're going to put a small island down at 1 and 1. So 11 and 6. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 6, this was 5. So right here, we're going to put a small island. Ooh, nope, wrong thing. Token. Place token. Right. So there's a small island there. And that small island is a... You roll a d6. D8, sorry. And I rolled a 2, which is the Bounty Hunters Guild. 1d6 open contracts, 33% chance that one is yours. Can I actually just pop that on here? Surely there's a place where I can do a description. I just set up as a character. 2 Bounty Hunters Guild. 1d6 open contracts. And 33% chance one is for you. So this would be quite cool on a map if you're doing it physically, because then you just throw down your dice and you've got all these things. You know what, let's show. I don't actually want it to be hidden. There we go. Then we need a medium village, medium island. So where's this one going? D12, D10. 2 and 5. So this was 4, so it's right there. A token. Maybe that's where he's been sailing from, where the thing happened. Now you get to roll a d10 for this to see what's on this medium island. And hopefully this will make sense to the little story that's developing. Roll a 6. It's a jungle island, 1d3 pirate crew searching for buried treasure. So I think maybe we came aboard, had buried our treasure, and that's where we were found. Someone had been tracking us. And so that's where he lost his crew, where he's now solo. I wonder, do I have this on another window where I can just copy and paste it? You might not be able to see this, but that's fine. Control C. Go, there you go. Up next is you roll a d20 for your quest. And the quest roll is a 10. Sink the ship at d6. So at the thing I haven't rolled yet. Sink the ship at d6. You're going to need a bigger boat and probably a crew. Okay, so this is going to probably be that revenge that I was looking at. And again, can I just grab this and pop it in the chat? Oh, actually, this game has notes, so let's do a note. So now we can remember our quest. D12, a large island. So let's see where this large island occurs. At 3 and 3. So this is 4 and 5, so it's right here. Maybe that was the island we came from. We'll find out, I guess. Large island. What is up with this large island? D12. This is a bustling port town. Opportunities abound, legal and otherwise. View. Do some notes. Bustling port town. 8. I've just got the PDF open on another screen, so save a bit of time with that. Can I actually make this smaller? View. I feel like it's an incredibly large looking boat right now. Token size. Let's just make a little token. Here we go. My little dinghy. We'll still be able to find it. It's fine. And then we have D6, a ship adrift. So where is this ship? Hopefully it's far away enough to make this a bit of a trip. 4 and 5. Okay, so it's actually... I am right on it already. I think maybe I re-roll that. Five and 2. So here and that was 5 and 2. 1, 2. So I'm going to put a ship here. And the ship adrift is... You get to roll a d6 for it. It is a dice roll of 5, a frigate. With a British crew who are big for assistance, except in this one we know that it's actually his former pirate crew. So let's grab a frigate. Ship frigate. Add. Give me a token. What do we say? 3, 4, 5, and 2. No, wait, that was 5. So that's 3. That's 2. 4, 5. Yep. We can show that. And you can also set a pursuer, but I don't think that I want to do that. Okay, so we have got this Tale of Revenge. That frigate is going to be a severe problem if I was trying to take it straight off. It's got a broadside of 1d8. It's got a lot of hit points, and there's a crew on board that I'm going to have to try and deal with. Whereas my little dinghy has no broadsides at all. So I think what I need to do is I need to figure out how I can get a crew. Now this was a bustling port, wasn't it? View. Bustling port town, opportunities bound, legal and otherwise. Okay. But also I only have this 1 gold coin. So maybe I go back and I need to try and find that treasure on the island, I think. Now, I could either handwave sailing, as we find Jonathan on his little dinghy. Maybe the island that they were on is just not even visible here. Or maybe it was his ship and they came through and they sank his ship. That's what got set ablaze and he just managed to escape on a dinghy. Went down with the ship, but then the dinghy was still there. Unfortunately, all hands were lost otherwise. So maritime travel. Sailing the open sea is dangerous when you're alone. For each day travelled, test presence twice with a DR of 12. So, you know what? Let's give him a roll. What was his presence again? Presence of, I believe, 0. I'm going to play as him. Oh, presence of -1. Okay, well, let's roll that twice. Can I just click on that? 1 success. I'm trying to get 11s here. So 1 success. So this is what's counted as a weak hit. So you roll 2d. No, you roll twice. If you get 2 successes, you get a strong hit. If you get 1 success, you get a weak hit. And if you roll no successes, you get a fail. So he got a weak success to try and paddle along, which says he can move 1 hex in a random direction. Sorry. And then you may move 1 additional hexes in your chosen direction up to your ship speed. And what is my ship speed? View. Ship speed of 2. So he goes a random direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he goes there. Oops. It's paddling away, but the currents just pull him out. But he does manage to pull it back somewhat back towards the island that he's trying to reach. Now I realized I kind of glossed over before the setting, so you might think, okay, this is the Caribbean, and that in general. Kind of. It's an alternate history of sorts. So when people flood into the Caribbean or the in the 1600s, what they found were all these ruins, not necessarily the actual cultures that we found in the real world. So all these ruins and treasures and artifacts that no one knows where they came from. And people started flooding to the area, and then there was an event where the undead came back to life and creatures started coming out from the deep. Millions were killed, and now you have this very risky setting, which looks like the Caribbean, except there is monsters and there's undead, and pirates, of course. And there is a thing called ash. So these undead is when you kill them, they leave a residue, and this residue has hugely hallucinogenic properties. I guess imagine if LSD was powder and you could just blow your mind with that. So this is what a lot of pirates go after. It's worth a lot of money, but then also regular gold. I think Jonathan was just one of the gold-loving pirates. Maybe fell in with the wrong crowd, backstabbed them, and is now paying the price for it. Right, so we haven't quite got to this island. So we're at sea. And you know what? What's something that might happen at sea? Let's roll an event, maybe. And there's a D6 table here. Roll of 6. So the wind changes. Oh, didn't even check what the weather was like. They even have foul weather tables. Roll a 2d6 to see what the weather was like. I love random tables. This is all the stuff I would have prepared before a game, but here we are. Sweltering hellfire sunlight. So I think what it is that originally they had weighed anchor away from this island. Maybe they had just come from the island, going back to the island. Yeah, the ship was burnt. He managed to get onto this thing, and it is just a brutally hot day. Which is, maybe that's part of why he couldn't fight the current at first. But now the wind has changed. There is a gentle breeze now. It's not quite as oppressively hot and horrifying for him. But he is still not quite at the island, so I'm just... I wonder... Random events in the Dark Caribbean, do I want to roll for that? I think that might be a little too deadly for him. I think what will happen is that he's just going to get through to this island today. I don't know if I can make him come to the top. We are learning about alchemy, I guess. Okay, so he reaches this island, and I'm sure that there's some random tables about what the island is actually like. Pirate Borg is just pages and pages of tables, and I flip and love it. Okay, so let's look. So it's got some kind of terrain. The terrain of the island is a 3. It's actually 2 smaller islands. Just showing this down so I don't forget. The vegetation on it is... So as a GM, you know, or Harbour Master, you can roll up all of these, just have them available, and then let your players go nuts. And the whole point is just to try and run with whatever they want. So this has got thorny scrub on it. No wonder it's a good place to bury treasure, because it's a real ass to try and, pardon my language, to try and get through. No one wants to go on there. Dice roll of 3 for prominent feature. There's huge sand dunes as well. I wonder if that's one of the islands and then the other one. We're going to see, there's actually a thing that says, where's the best place to hide treasure on here? So it's kind of like, what's an interesting landmark? 8. There is 2 palm trees crossed like an X. Of course there is. I love it. On the sand dunes. Like an X. There's anything here with a fortune, which obviously there is. Natural hazards. What might they be? Dice roll of 4, so the natural hazard is quicksand. This all makes sense. Okay, so what it is there's 2 islands. With you know what, when the tide is out a bit more, there's a land bridge between the 2 of them. One of them for some reason is where most of the scrub went. It's a thorny area. But then the other one is more just rolling sand dunes. Unfortunately, with that though, inside the sand dunes, there are some trees, some foliage, less so though. And inside it's got the hazard that you very much need to watch your footing in the quicksand. With it all looking like sand dunes, it's very easy to miss. So one is a very inhospitable island because of all the thorns, and the other one is just plain deadly, where you'd sink into the ground. So this is why some pirates have hidden their treasure there. Whether it's on the thorny island or the sand dune island. I mean, I think Jonathan's going to think it's a little too simplistic that it would be under the crossed X. But there was a D3. Just roll this and half it. Half it. So we'll say there's the 3. So there is 3 sets of pirates on here already, and they are trying to find this treasure. I believe that was this island. Oop, wrong button. View. Jungle. Okay, so there's jungle as well. Oh, okay, so maybe the sand dunes are at the edge, and then the jungle is the central bit. And then, of course, there's the scrubby one as well. That picture is just a picture I grabbed from Limathron on the Patreon. Okay, so there's pirates, and I think these pirates are probably already interacting. There was a thing, there's a conflict going on already. So let's just say that the as he's approaching this island, because you know what, he might have stored a cache of weapons here, and he just needs to maybe pick up some gold that he knows is stored somewhere, pick up some weapons, and prepare himself. Then he can get himself a crew, and they can go after the those bastards that sank his ship. And you know what? There is actually a thing for generating the pirate that sank his ship. Where is that? So the pirate captain is, roll a d66. A 1-1, so Esteban. Esteban 23. Esteban Jones, also known as 22 and 35, 22 and 35. The blue, okay, so it's bowlegged in blue. That's a bit weird. I'm just going to move it, so it's going to be the blue king for some reason. So Esteban Jones, the blue king. Let's make a note. Esteban Jones, the blue king. And just because I always remember that line from El Mariachi, the Blue King, where's Black? Because there was a character and his name was Azul, and someone's like, his name is Azul, does he wear blue? And the other person said, no, black, because Azul is blue in Spanish, I believe. Anyways, Esteban Jones, the Blue King, who wears black. He wears black. And he is on that frigate. Jonathan had seen him sailing off in that direction, so he doesn't know exactly, but he has a rough idea it's over there. So he is landing on this island, and I think he's going to start heading towards, oh, maybe, you know what, because it was so obvious that is where he hid his treasure under the crossed X's. It's like putting a password 123 or something. It seems so obvious that he's like, no one will ever think to look there. And with a presence of -1, you know, he actually thought that was a good idea. So he's going to head in. He's going to, as he's heading up those dunes, and he knows a little path to avoid some of this quicksand. It gets a bit worse further in before it gets to the edge of the jungle. But he's going to make it through to his little spot, and he's going to hear musket shots or some kind of black powder weapon. Now hello emoji. So he knows that something has happened. There's a sound of shot. What I know as a GM or Harbour Master that he doesn't know is that those pirates have actually run into each other, whether they've got treasure out already or whether they've just run into each other on the search for it. I guess we'll find out. But at the moment, he just wants to try and get out his little pile of loot. So he's going to, you know, as he hears this shots coming from the jungle, and it's not close enough for him to be too concerned at this point. He is going to dig his way, and what weapon did he have again? Somewhere. Maybe the game will let me look at these things. Morale, reactions, actions, description, no? Oh wait. Maybe I can look in equipment. Aha, that's right, he's got his brass anchor. He's going to dig through, and that's where he pulls out the sea chest, quite a large sea chest, and inside he's got 80 silver. Unfortunately, it's not the best pile of loot they had. It's just kind of a break-in case of emergency pile of loot. There's also some blankets, pillows, torches, and a spyglass. Oh, and you know what? Let's say the brass anchor is in here as well. So this is where he's gotten his things from. He's going to leave the sea chest. In fact, he's going to leave most of it. He's going to bring his few torches, the anchor, spyglass, and the silver, because you never know when you're going to need that. Or actually, you do know when you're going to need that. It's when you're trying to hire a pirate crew. Now, it's taken him a while to dig this small amount of loot up in this very large chest. Oh yeah, I've got some kind of spam thing in my chat. Is there some way of blocking them? I don't know. But I'm not going to buy cheap viewers. Thanks for offering. Right, so the sound of shot has finished. And so I think he is actually going to... He's a little bit curious. So he's going to sneak towards where he heard it. And try and find out what's going on. And... I think walking through, he pushes up through the dunes. He has gotten to the edge of the jungle before, so there's a lot of risk if he was to run back this way. But because he's taking his time picking his way forward, he avoids the quicksand that he knows about, which thankfully we're just going to say is the quicksand. And he gets to the edge of the jungle, and it's so pleasant, you know, getting out of the sun, because as much as the wind had picked up a little bit, it's still that searingly hot day, so it's nice to be out of the shade. Now in this thick jungle, he's going to head in, but the sounds have died away, so he's just kind of taking a gamble at what direction. And let's roll a random luck dice to see yes, no. Does he find it quickly? Or find the spot where the action was taking place quickly? Yes, okay, that's easy enough. So this little yes, no thing, it's got no, but, yes, a no, but, no, no, and, yes, but, yes, yes, and. So, yeah, be quiet, a little too, it is a little too quiet. It's a little too Ralph, for anyone that's ever watched the second Ninja Turtles live action movie from the 90s, I believe. So he's found the spot, and the drone of flies is increased. That's partially why he's heard it, and so maybe there's going to be some birds that you can see through the tree break circling. Seagulls of all things, because you're not going to get carrion birds like vultures or whatnot on this island. But seagulls will eat anything, especially if it's on your plate in a cafe. So it goes through, and I think what it is, I mean, is everyone dead already? No, and, okay. So he gets to the point, and you know what, let's make him roll an agility, DR12, to see how quiet he's being. 16. Yeah, so he's pulling through, and maybe because he is so scrawny, for a brute especially, he is surprisingly quiet and stealthy, light on his feet. It's not like he's carrying a lot, right? Really just this giant brass anchor. So he's sneaking forward to the spot where he can hear people talking. And what he finds is, lo and behold, we're going to say one person and two looks like people, but there's something not quite right with them. And the person themselves is muttering things, like repeating something in this strange language that Jonathan's never heard, and it's just it's like an incantation, and it just repeats and repeats. And around the person's hands, the vision shimmers almost like heat. And he is staring down at the body of some pirates. And I think, you know what, even with his lower intelligence, Jonathan realizes that this person is probably dealing with the undead. And that explains why those people, like when he looks at it, yeah, actually they have wounds on them, but they look unperturbed by these wounds. So they're actually probably a couple of undead with whatever they call those people that do the magic to make the undead alive again. And he actually suspects that that's probably what's happening to these people on the ground. They might be trying to raise these people back to life. This is not necessarily something that he wants to deal with, although they could be a useful ally. You know, what's he got to lose? He is going to... He's going to present himself. He's hiding behind some of these trees, and this incantation is going, and then these two other people are just kind of like standing there, mindlessly, if you will. And he's going to keep pop the brass anchor over his shoulder as nonchalantly as you can with a giant anchor. And he's going to call out, oh, hello there. What, how are you? What is going on? He's an idiot, actually. And I don't even know how to approach what he's going to say, but he's going to greet them. Because yes, he's decided that these people could be a useful ally. And they haven't tried to kill him, and he hasn't quite put together the fact that they probably just killed these other people. But you know what? He doesn't know who shot first. He doesn't know what went down. Maybe these people were attacked by the ones that are dead. They just act in self-defense. I guess he's going to find out. Because there is also a table, a reaction table. It's hidden behind my logo on stream now that I look at it. Well, let's roll this table. How do these people... This is the reaction of the necromancer and his two zombies. His, her. Is it a him? Yes, it is a him. So what happens is he's like, how goes it? Are you okay? And the necromancer, who's their eyes are closed, their hands are swimming as they're doing this incantation, and they're just like, just puts a hand up, and they're still doing their little incantation with the other hand. Just buying a moment. The two zombies kind of like shuffle, look at Jonathan, look at each other, and then just go back to looking around. And Jonathan, he's been one-momented, and so he is just going to, drop the anchor and drop anchor and just lean on it and wait for this person to finish. And lo and behold, after several more minutes, and this incantation grows in a crescendo until there's the shimmering around their hand takes on this kind of greenish hue and drips onto the ground and onto the bodies that were there. And there's 4 bodies on the ground. Yes, the shimmering, almost like it becomes liquid, drips onto these bodies, seeps into them, and with a shudder they'll begin to pick themselves up. And the necromancer kind of like, whew, puts their hands on their knees for a bit, pulls a flask from their hip, takes a draft of whatever is in there, and turns and yes, thank you for your patience. Who are you? And Jonathan goes, I'm a man in search of aid. My crew was killed, which, it seems not to be an issue for a person like yourself, but I find myself in need of a crew to get revenge. And you know what? If there's killing, then there'll be bodies, and you look like someone who might be interested in bodies of dead people, based upon the fact that you've just taken those dead people's bodies. And the necromancer looks at him and is like, well, yes, but you see, I can get bodies anywhere. I'm not entirely sure why I would need to tether my cart to your donkey. And Jonathan thinks that's a peculiar phrase, in the same way that I think that's a peculiar phrase, and I don't know why I went with it, but such is the case. Jonathan's like, well, do you know if there's many other people on this island? The dead ones especially. And it's like, oh, well, no. These are the only ones we saw. Had a bit of a run-in, and so now, well, didn't really need them. I thought, didn't want to waste them, though. Waste them, but don't want to waste the bodies afterwards. So, I thought I'd just be a tidy pirate. And Jonathan thinks, he thinks out loud, I really need this guy to give me a hand, because this is going to make life a lot easier. So I think in a different accent to my my regular voice. The necromancer says, you're quite alright there. You seem to be talking to yourself in a different voice, which is fine, because my accent slips in the Caribbean as well. You see, I am... You know what? Who is he? Let's give him a name. We've got tables for this. See, I don't think we've actually introduced ourselves. You see, I am... Dun, 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 dun. Let's roll these things. Was it? It's a D66, isn't it? 2 and 2. 22 is Peter or Charlotte. Probably Peter, because he's a guy. Just makes it easier on this occasion. Peter 42. Peter Roberts. Does he have a nickname as well? 41. Okay, so what I'm going to do is 41 is whale, but the next one is bones. So I'm going to say that he was Edward, wasn't he? Peter. Oh wait, Peter 42 is Peter Roberts. But we're going to say people know me. I'm known as Robert Bones. And I'm just going to put a little thing in here. Peter Roberts. Robbie Whalebones. Oh, Robbie Whalebones. Bobby Bones. The Necromancer. There you go. Oh, Bobby Bones. Yes, you might have heard of me, Bobby Bones. Not quite famous in these parts yet, but you know, working on it. You know, you got to start somewhere. Start with 1, get 2, get 4 more. Bobby. Yes, you need to. That's my accent, right? Bobby Bones. Actually, yes, I have heard of you. Sir, nice to meet you, Bobby. In the flesh. Is that 2 on the money? I'm sorry to your friends whose flesh seems to be, well, they're in the flesh, so I made this awkward, haven't I? And Bobby's like, yes, a little bit. But I suppose you do make I actually so much prefer Bobby now to poor old Jonathan. I'm going to probably end up switching the stars of this. Look, you do make a fair point. I suppose to increase my fame, I would need more of a crew. However, there seems to be none on this island. I was on the search for an artifact, you see. Yes, Haas switch. Well, that's the thing. When you're doing a solo game, you're the boss. You can do that. I can roll up Bobby's character, Bobby the Necromancer. In fact, I'm sure there's actually a Necromancer that you can make. Skeletons, the Sorcerer, Deadhead, Spiritual Possession, Raise the Dead. Okay. So you can make a Sorcerer character in Pirate Borg, and one of their spells that they can cast, D2 plus Spirit times a day, is Raise the Dead. So you create skeletal thralls from nearby corpses. They're stupid but obey your verbal commands. They tumble into bones at sunrise. So I'm just going to say that these ones aren't skeletal. He has got this little group. So until sunrise, the next sunrise, he's got 6 idiot zombies that he can work with. Yes. The problem, you see, is my little army is temporary, and it might surprise you, but I'm less confident working with the living. And Jonathan's like, well, that's fine because I was a captain myself and of humans who were alive until they were killed, and then I suppose at that point there'll probably be more your type. But look, maybe we could work together. You see, I could run a human crew for us, and you could provide a dead crew, and really we could recycle them. It's as you say, less wasteful. I would have the humans, and we would do what we would need to do, and as they die, which they tend to, you just bring them back again, and they get a second chance, I'd say. And he thinks it's a brilliant idea. Bobby, on the other hand, is like, well, I suppose there is some merit to that. Okay, well, I tell you what. As I say, I was looking... Reduce, reuse, reanimate. Yes, these are a fine point. Thank you, disembodied emoji voice. I tell you what, there was this artifact that I was looking for. It could be actually quite useful. It's meant to help allow me to control more of the living adjacent. I thought it was on this island, but I haven't quite been able to find it. Look, would you assist me in finding this artifact first, and then we could perhaps go on your revenge mission and pick up some more people, some more bodies to join our cause. And Jonathan's like, that's fine by me. Do ye have a map? Yes, of course. Here. And Bobby hands Jonathan this map. He goes, I think the problem right there is that... Is this even the right island? Let's see if this is the right island. No, it's not the right island. So I'm going to say, rather than it's completely the wrong island, it's actually on the other one. So he's like, oh, there's the problem. The way your map is drawn, it looks like... I think you're looking at the wrong part. According to this, it's actually... Yes, you see, there's two islands. There's this one, which has the quicksand, and I see that's on your map. But then there's the other island, and my island, and it's that thorny bugger. And I think your artifact is actually buried there. And he's like, oh, okay, well, perhaps we should check that out. And you know what, I'm just going to hand wave. A fun little jaunt, 6 zombies, necromancer, and just a wreck of a pirate captain. Traipse back through the jungle, following this map, and they eventually find, you know what do they find? Where is this treasure located? There's a random tables. Where is it? Where is it? Treasure maps. It is by... you know what? Let's use this table. These are markers. I'm just going to see if it makes a fun thing for where it actually is buried. 20. Oh, well, there you go. So there's a tombstone of all things. But what I think it is not so much a tombstone, so much as a rock that has had a carving in it of a skull. So when they're looking around and he's like, well, I'm sure it should be around here. No, more people trying to sell me viewers, no. So they find this rock with a carving and digging down, using the zombies to dig through. Lo and behold, they do find a small-ish package wrapped in skins, and carefully unwrapping it, there is this what looks like a arm bone with a hand grasping at an orb. It is very clearly something necromantic and entirely generic necromantic looking, made of steel though, or metal of some kind. I automatically regret not saying that it was. You know what? Let's retcon. Retcon. It's a larger thing. They keep pulling it. It's like in Mary Poppins when she pulls everything out of the lamppost out of her bag, and they just keep pulling out of this hole, and it's quite bulbous on one end, and then there's a long staff of sorts. And lo and behold, it is a staff. And unwrapping it again, it's this kind of like bluey purple metal, not quite like a iodized titanium that we're used to. It looks like it's more of a like the quality of the purpleness is unnerving. It looks like cold steel, but with a purpley hue anyway. And so following up the staff, they unwrap this part at the top that was in the leathers. That's still relevant. And lo and behold, it's again this purple metal, but it's been fashioned into the shape of a ram's skull with curled horns. And Bobby Bones holds it aloft. He's like, I have the power now to summon or to control more undead. This is excellent. Yes, exactly, Moji. You get it. So, the three of them, what are we up to now? 8 of them. 6 plus 2 living people. Are going to circle around, and there's actually a boat. He has a boat, which is some other kind of boat. I'm just going to keep using this dinghy. Just going to put it there. And I probably should find a bigger boat. We're going to need a bigger boat. What is a decent-sized boat? Pirate Borg book. Yeah. What is it? What kind of boat shall we use? One day, I should probably learn about all the different boats, so I know offhand, especially when it's something like, oh, it's a frigate, which I know is big. So let's see, he has some amount of people, crew of not too many. I reckon he's got a sloop. The sloop takes a crew of 3 to 10. It's got some cannons, but not a crap load. It is a small, single-masted vessel. It's the perfect pirate ship due to its speed, shallow draft, and maneuverability. Sweet. Let's throw that crappy old dinghy back there. Oh, you know what? Maybe they'll pick up the dinghy on the way. We'll have that as a backup. But for now, we're going to find our sloop. Yes, it is a ship. It doesn't go under the water, hopefully, so therefore it's not a boat. Nor does it go on side of, or on, if it goes on another thing, then it's a boat. You don't put a ship on a boat, you put a boat on a ship. The ship's name, we'll get to the ship's name. We're still trying to find that, it was a sloop, wasn't it? Yep, add sloop. But you're right, the sloop needs a name, and I'm sure that there is a random name generator for ships as well. Because this book is just the best. Alright, D66. Bobby Bones' boat is known as 36. The Vendetta. That's boss. And also, just so appropriate for this revenge mission we're about to go on. Captain is Jonathan. Jonathan? Jonathan? Right. At that. And Jonathan is impressed. He was on a larger ship before it was destroyed. but it's still very nice to have this vendetta. Oh, that's so cool. Jonathan for now? Well, I mean, he gets a second chance at life if he dies, so maybe Jonathan for later as well. Alright, so they're going to sail off. He goes, alright, so I remember I saw them sailing northeast past the island, the bloody big island. North of here. I'm sure if we pull in the wind, if your crew are as good as I hope, I hope if your crew are as good as I hope, we'll make fair time and we'll be able to catch them. Yes, we managed to. I noticed that there was damage to the ship, so maybe I can't have gotten too far. And Bobby Man's like, oh, excellent. Well, my workers, my living adjacent, 2 arms, and then Jonathan's like, not 2 arms, you want to usually hoist the sail, and he's like, oh yes, listen to Jonathan, unless I tell otherwise, just in case. Yeah. So we're going to sail off, we're going to sail towards them, and you know what, what's something cool that we see at sea? Oh my gosh. Let's roll. What kind of creature do they see? I'm not necessarily going to get in a fight for this. I'm just kind of interested in what they might see. 1d8. Yeah. Oh, and then 2d6. Six. So as they're going along, what they do is they're skirting around this island and they see a drowned in the ocean. Do I have a picture of a drowned? That's what I was kind of hoping. Drowned. The drowned? I really wish this filter was working. Drowned. Yes, use pirate Borg. Drowned. Was that it the whole time? Is that... I just hadn't... Or do you have to enter? Oh, the drowned. Here we go. On Snake Mountain. I just actually want to look at this. Because, as I say, this is just for a color view. So there's an island, and sitting on this island, mournfully singing, is a mariner, covered in seaweed, singing his siren call. It sounds like some kind of sea shanty, however, with his lack of musculature and neck and voice box and most parts that you need for singing. It's just a bit of a warbling. I was just going to say that, Bobby's like, oh, pull over, we could talk to this chap. And Jonathan's like, do you be crazy, they be one of the drowned, they'll pull us down into the deep as soon as look at us. And, Bobby's going to hold up his little staff and be like, ooh. And Jonathan still doesn't quite get it, but he's kind of co-captaining at the moment, and so he's like, okay, well, at the first sign of trouble, though, I'd be putting my anchor through him. And Bobby's like, well, that seems like a fair deal. I don't think you'll find trouble there. And as they get closer, he starts to swirl his staff and mutter, and then he throws his hands and the call reverberates out, and the drowned, which has been singing its do it on the voice song, stops and cocks its head in the direction of the vendetta. And Bobby Bones is like, "You work for me now," and the drowned kind of just nods its head and flops into the water. And Bobby's like, "Oh shit! We need to get him out. I think the point of the drowned is that he can't swim." Fast forward. Zombies get in the dinghy, go over, fish him out, bring him back in. So now we have a crew of 6 zombies, 1 drowned, 1 necromancer, and the main character who's just been pushed back in the big scheme of things. Anyway, so we're just gonna scoot forward. I'm gonna say that it's gonna be nighttime by the time they come up within sight, and with his spyglass, keeping around the island as much as possible to break the line of sight. He's been scanning the horizon now. Jonathan, our protagonist, obviously the protagonist isn't Bobby Bones, and he spots what is the name of the frigate? Never even figured out the frigate's name. Only the name of the pirate captain who runs it. The 33. That's not actually the name. But using the roll of the 33 to look up the name of a ship, we find that this is called the Raven's Wrath. Whoa. Jono who? I think you'll find he's the main character. View. The Raven's Wrath. And you can tell with the giant figurehead at the front, which is a raven. Show. Excellent. So Jonathan's like, "There be the Raven's Wrath. Then the scurvy dog, the Blue King. He's the one that killed my crew and sank my ship." And Bobby Bones is like, "The Blue King? Does he wear blue?" To which Jonathan replies, "No, black." Because let's just circle back to that reference. So he's going to wait until night. He's going to sail to a point where they're safe, and he's like, "Oh, it looks like they've weighed anchor and they're carrying out repairs. Perhaps we can wait until night, and then we can deboard them." And Bobby's like, "Well, doesn't worry me as long as we do it all before morning, because otherwise we're quite screwed. We'll only have this salty chap." And the drone's like, Jonathan's like, should we be? I don't know. Do we be naming your crew?" And Bobby's like, "No, not really. It's fine. We'll just remember that. I guess you're kind of like a merman. I'll call you Merman. I know you're not actually a merman, but you're mer adjacent, living adjacent. But they call them living man. Oh well. Salty Chad. We know, like, we'll have a quick flashback to this privateer, Salty Chad, he was known. The scourge of the area, him and his ship with its bright red prow, signifying there's like, no one could tell if it was the demon's flames or blood, but anyway, if you saw that red prow in the distance, you knew there was nowhere you could run. Unfortunately, one day, and Salty Chad laughed at storms, and nothing could seem to sink his ship. But then one day he pushed his luck too far, and it's almost as though the gods themselves decided to punish his hubris, and so all hands were lost, and the red beast is pulled almost into the deep, and now eventually salty Chad emerged one day, with less conscious of who he was, but knew that he was destined for greatness. Unfortunately, he got washed up onto this rock, and he, yes, the sound of the red, the red menace, bearing on them. There was always the sound of the sea shanties, almost like a war cry, and so he, that little part of his animal brain, when he was stuck on the rock. What is happening with the story? Anyway, so we've got Salty Chad, but he's just known as Merman now. We've got Bobby Bones, the necromancer, who has the staff. And then we've got Jonathan, who's the completely sidelined protagonist. In the distance, they can see, and of course they're on the Vendetta, but in the distance they see the Raven's Wrath, which is where the Blue King holds his court. Hey, see what I did there? And but they're on for repairs. Night falls. It was a fine, it was that sweltering hot fine day, not a cloud in the sky, and the night is the same. The stars out, but no moon tonight. Jonathan needs to up his game. Jonathan needed. There's so many other characters. Hey Sam, welcome to the stream. It's got a bit crazy, but that's fine because it's Pirate Borg, and Pirate Borg is a little unhinged, followed up by a lot unhinged. All right, so what they're going to do is they're actually going to drop the dinghy, and you know what? Asking whether we were meant to be naming the undead. Bobby's like, do we need to be naming your dinghy? And Jonathan's like, well, you don't normally need to name it, but it's a special kind of dinghy. It's double hulled. It's almost a smaller catamaran. And I think now we need to use it. We'll load up and we'll go out under the cover of dark in this battle catamaran. This battle cat. Yes, we will. If you're human adjacent, a crew will paddle. I will lead them, and then we will board the ship under the cover of dark. And I'll figure out whatever my accent is, and I'll take my bloody revenge. And you will fill your crew with as many dead as you can carry, or as many carry themselves. I guess they can walk. You don't need to carry anything. In fact, they carry things for you. It's excellent. So right, I'm just going to very quickly change this to the battle cat catamaran. Right, so they're going to sneak up under cover of darkness in the battle catamaran. So inside we have, just a quick recap, Jonathan, the apparently protagonist, who is wearing rags still. He's got his brass anchor over his shoulder, standing on the bow. His matted dreads kind of seared from the flames that had consumed his ship and his crew earlier in the day. His quest for revenge really wrapping up within like a 2-hour window of sorts. 2 hours? Yeah, it would be about 2 hours. So he's on the bow. Behind him is his new... actually, is going to be probably a Salty Chad, now known as Merman. A drowned who they picked up, who they found singing on a rock as they went past. Then we've got our 6 zombies, and then kind of in the middle of them, using them as protection, is Bobby Bones, the necromancer, carrying his staff of a strange purplish metal with a ram's head carving on the top with its curvy horns. Right, so under cover of darkness, they will arrive on this boat, and you know what? I'm just gonna push forward to the fun part. So they board this boat, and on board, they see the crew is. Some of them are still hard work, and there's yelling from the first mate of like telling people, oh, you gotta fix this and fix that, and adjust that thing and tie that thing off, and then oil that and nail that on there, and she'll be right in the night. We'll do it live. So someone is trying to organize some people. Other people, sneaking on board. Jonathan has been on the ship before. This is the one that he originally betrayed before they betrayed him. And so now he's seeking bloody revenge for their betrayal of their revenge. Revenge on their revenge. As you do when you're a pirate. So he knows that below deck is where more crew will be sleeping, because it is night. And to the best of their knowledge, they probably think that they sank his ship. All hands lost, their revenge is done. They put the coins on his eyes when his body went over, and that's where he's got the coin. Knows that they were the ones that set this fire. Watch the stream if you want to figure out what that's all about. I'm making up as I go along. And yes, the captain is not visible at the moment, but Jonathan suspects that he's probably in his cabin at the moment. And so probably well, what now? Do we need some kind of plan? And Jonathan goes, well, I just have the one plan. Kill them all! Let's just do some kind of combat. So what I might do is, there's crew something, what? And they spin around and they draw cutlasses and the zombies shamble forward, and I'm just going to hand wave that those people are all fighting each other. Bobby is going to hide somewhere, just peering over, just making sure everything is fine. But keeping very quietly, so that people don't notice where he's hiding. And Jonathan is going to charge in against the quartermaster. There's some rules for combat in here, where you can just kind of, if you don't want to do the combat properly, you can just do it this way, which is, if you like, you can run combat on a grid, track everyone's HP, and that's great. If you want to speed through combat, so what I want to do is I want to speed through the combat so that I can just describe it instead, because I'm the only one playing. I don't need to roll a bunch of dice. So choose one weapon. Well, that would be his only weapon. His brass anchor. Assign a DR to combat, which is 8 plus the enemy's HP minus the weapon's maximum damage. So the maximum damage is 8. And what do we say? What's this guy's health? Should we do? I have an anchor. What health shall we say this guy is? Surely there's some kind of minions, bad guys, generic people to fight. Oh wait, there is actually in the rulebook. There are the different kind of people that you find. These are the people in your neighborhood. In your neighborhood. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to find naval crew, navy ships, naval officer. That's not quite right, but it might have to be because that's the human ones. Okay, let's say it's a naval officer. You know what? Because why not? So this person's got an HP of 8. The weapon does 8. So it kind of cancels it out, because the formula in this little captain and crew booklet, which I was talking about, which is the solo rules created by M. Allen Hall, which is an independent thing, not part of Pirate Borg, but it is, I believe, in the Cabin Fever compendium, which is where a whole bunch of people made content for Pirate Borg. It got collated, the best of it got collated. It's a free PDF, I believe, but also you can buy a hard copy or order a hard copy as part of the the Kickstarter that's going on. I put the Kickstarter in the chat somewhere. or at least look it up. Have I ordered it? Yes, because it's awesome, and honestly, Pirate Borg it has surprised me with how much I enjoy this game. Anyway, so DR is 8 plus enemy HP, so 16 minus weapons maximum damage, which puts it back down to 8. So I need to roll a DR of 8. And I get to roll it twice, and that will give me either a strong hit, a weak hit, or a fail. So let's roll 2 d20. Looking to see how many go over 8. Was that it? Yeah, that's my 2d20. So one 8 plus and one not 8 plus, which is a weak hit. Roll 1d2. Right, 1d2. Oh, is this... Not sure if the stream is working or not. I guess we'll find out. 1d2 is 2. So the weak hit was the enemy is killed and the PC takes damage. So what kind of damage did this guy have that he can do? He could do a flintlock or cutlass, so let's say he does 1d6 damage. Four damage to Jonathan. Tracker? New. Oh wait, I'm playing as Jonathan. HP 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the two of them run at each other, both bellowing, and oops, is my internet gone down? Bellowing at each other. Bobby is just biding his time. Okay, so I assume the stream is still working then, if you can comment on this. Yes, he comes in swinging this anchor, and this quartermaster, or not quartermaster, first mate pulls out his flintlock and fires. And the first one, he manages to almost parry. It's a huge anchor, so like ducks behind Captain America style, and it pings off. And he runs in, he knocks the quartermaster over. Not quartermaster. I keep saying quartermaster. He's going to be a first mate / quartermaster. Knocks him to the ground. He draws his cutlass, takes a swing and slashes through. Actually manages to cut Jonathan under the arm, but with his a huge swing. I guess it's mainly not so much strength, because his strength is crap, but it's using the momentum of it, swings this anchor over, and just crushes the head of the quartermaster. Which breaks the spirit of the crew. They start to back off. They form a defensive circle, and lo and behold, the captain comes out, and there's Captain the Blue King. The door flies open on his cabin, and he's standing there with two flintlocks, and he goes, "Who is disturbing the Blue King?" And Jonathan's like, "It's me, you son of a bitch, you sunk my ship, now I'm taking yours and I'm taking your crew." And the Blue King goes, "The hell you are!" Levels both flintlock pistols at Jonathan. It is at this moment a streak of purple energy catches the Blue King in the side, and it just passes through as though you're shining a light, and where the light has shone, flesh is stripped away. So this huge gash just appears where, Captain arms, but then all of a sudden just bones. And, you know, the internal organs are so obliterated by this, so all that's left is bones in this middle section and then flesh down, and there's a puzzled look on the captain's face. And he kind of starts to turn. And lo and behold, Bobby Bones standing there with his staff with the skull head leveled. He's like, and the captain falls to his knees. It's kind of that still look of puzzlement, and his pistol's forward, and he falls on his face. And Bobby's like, "Oh no, you don't. Get up." At which point, he shudders and does stand up again. Weirdly, with this band of just bones in the middle. And yes, Jonathan makes the ultimatum to the crew of like, "I be your captain now, or you be his crew." And Jonathan's like, I mean, Bob's like, hello. As the shredded captain stands behind him. And you know what? This is where we're gonna kind of walk it off, Blue Boy. This is where we're gonna wrap up the story. So what happened? What started a tale of loss and revenge from poor Jonathan, our second-tier protagonist, has now landed him on a much bigger ship. He's on a frigate. He is on the Raven's Wrath. Although we're also going to get the Vendetta. We'll split the crew. So he has this little fleet now, the Vendetta and the Raven's Wrath, a crew mostly of humans, but also not all humans. And you know what? We are going to have Merman, old Salty Chad, is going to captain the Vendetta moving forwards, and he is going to but people actually start to get him. It's like Groot. I am Groot, except he's like, and people are like, "Yay, aye, Captain!" Sales go up and all these things. And yes, the human adjacent crew, every few days they rotate in depending on who they can acquire. And they go on, you know what, maybe another time we'll see some of the adventures that Jonathan, the second tier, Bobby Bones, and Salty Chad get up to. Pirate Borg is a weird game, and I love it for it. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of all of this stuff. So thank you. Can you pick up Pirate Borg and just make up a story? Or make up a character and then make up a story? Absolutely. There is just so many random tables in here, and just the material is so rich. And the fact that you can just go a little bit crazy. Yeah, I love it. I'm looking forward to when I run my next game. Don't know when that is. But Pirate Borg. And again, go check out the Patreon that he's got going up at the moment. Not Patreon, Kickstarter. I wonder if I can actually just look up Limithron Kickstart. Can I... If I copy this, does it paste into something nicely? That looks awful. Oh, don't click that. I wish I could delete that comment, but I have no idea how. Anyway, look up. Don't go to that link. Go look up Limithron Pirate Borg Kickstarter. They have a whole bunch of really cool stuff, including... Oh, this is not even the right Kickstarter that I sent a link to. God, what am I doing? That he's got a new one, which is the Dark Caribbean. Not the Dark Caribbean, sorry. Down Among the Dead. Can I get the link for this? Does the internet hate me? Potentially. There we go. Go to that link. And then literally go to follow this random link that I've posted, and then put in your credit card details. This is the Pirate Borg, Down Among the Dead, Kickstarter. This is where there's the Cabin Fever book that you can order PDF, although you can get a free PDF, or the hardcover, which I've ordered, and that's what where you can find this captain and crew solo rules. It comes with adventures. They've got glow-in-the-dark dice. They've got an amazing looking GM screen, which also has glow-in-the-dark portions. They smashed through the funding they needed in about 2 minutes. Up to $500,000 raised so far, or backed so far. And I am very much looking forward to it coming out. Anyway, thank you for coming by. Thank you for watching. Might have had technical difficulties in the middle there, or might not have. I don't know. Pirate Borg, look it up. The rules are 2 pages of rules. Most of the book is just awesome random tables. And yeah, I hope to see you again sometime. Hope you've enjoyed taking a break. And take care.